empathy takes us all to make it right. Arm in arm, we join the fight. So much pride and diversity. This is the lesson of love and empathy. This is the lesson of love and empathy.
The future of virtual motorsports is now. This September, the heart of sim racing beats in Chicagoland as the Sim Gaming Expo takes over the Schaumburg Convention Center, September 5th through the 7th. Go wheel to wheel in our competition area, test the latest gear, meet top brands, creators, and celebrate with fellow sim racing enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or new to the sport, this is your chance to be part of history. To purchase tickets and see the full exhibitor lineup, visit SimGamingExpo.com.
Live from Daytona International Speedway, welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where this afternoon we're set for more racing action here for the premier sim racing Sim Gaming Expo Truck Series. Welcome to the World Center of Racing. My name is Ollis alongside Derrick Watson with Dustin Ollis behind the cameras. We bring you all of racing action here on Wednesday night. Derrick, it's Daytona, it's NASCAR. Name a more iconic duo.
Yeah, it's NASCAR, it's Daytona. It's the trucks. It's the Great Pride Ride 100. It's an amazing night here. A lot of fun's going to happen. I suspect some 2, some 3-wide racing. More than that tonight here for race number 3. But look ahead. We're off next week before moving into Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway. Then we go to IRP, Kentucky, the Glen, Richmond, Milwaukee Mile, and Darlington. Nolan, I've said it before with Evan. This is a wild schedule. There's really no consistent track type here. You got mile and a halves, you got short tracks, you got road courses, you got a super speedway. It's going to be a wild, wild season.
It's going to be a wild season indeed, with the only break happening this coming week. So after Daytona, drivers will get some much-needed respite before we get set for the Worldwide Technology Raceway over in Illinois. And, of course, the championship standings. We may be early in the championship, but it doesn't mean they're any less interesting. How about Richard Regan Jr.? He may be on top by about 20 points, but Matt Gagnon has got a real fight ahead of him as he's got Kalen, Holly, and Barney just 1 point behind.
Yeah, I think Gagnon's maybe the surprising name compared to last season to be up here in the points. Has really grown his confidence in the past couple weeks. Had an amazing run last week at Lime Rock. Didn't finish that way, unfortunately, but a great start to that run. And looking at, I mean, it's a 3-way tie for 3rd place. That's so impressive. And you got Lowendick, Evans, O'Brien, Baker, Loving back in your top 10. So when we look at the team points, though, when you got Regan and Gagnon 1 and 2, no surprise, Regan Bogue Motorsports is in first place by about 26 points over Whataback Racing. Solpec Precision Racing XR, by the way, back there at 146. And see on down, Miracle Flow, Regan Bogue Developmental, Tabata Rossi Esports, both their teams in the top 10 currently. So this is the battle. I think both battles are really up for grabs all season long. And this Super Speedway is likely to shake everything up.
Super Speedway Racing has a tendency to do that, as teams could either rise or they could very much fall just as quickly. We'll see what will happen in about 5 minutes' time, with qualifying just about to kick off from Daytona International Speedway. Before we get to all that, of course, We have to thank the guys that keep the lights on here for the Premier Sim Racing SimGamingExpo Truck Series. Coverage tonight is presented by SGE. Get ready for the ultimate simulation gaming experience. SimGamingExpo is bringing all genres of racing of both simulation and gaming tech under one roof from September 5th to 7th at the Schaumburg Convention Center in Chicagoland. Test the latest gear, meet your favorite streamers, and connect with a community that lives and breathes simulation. Don't miss your chance to be part of it. Grab your tickets now at SimGamingExpo.com.
And you know, Nolan, tonight's race at Daytona is the Great Pride Ride. Tonight, the drivers and broadcasters of the Premier Sim Racing SimGamingExpo Truck League want to take a moment and celebrate equality and love. Now, while progress has been made towards equality and LGBT issues, there's still work to do. Now, both in real life and in the sim racing community, issues such as hate speech, discrimination, and inequality are still more common than they really should be. As Pride celebrations continue across the nation and across the world, the message of equality is important, and we want to do our part to share that message with you tonight. Even if just one person finds the message of love and support tonight, whether it be someone watching at home, a fan member of a driver, or heck, even a driver in the race, we hope you see this event and know you are accepted, you are wanted, and you are loved. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Have fun seeing some of the bright, beautiful paint schemes with unicorns on them. And no matter who wins in about 75 minutes from now, our hope is that someday, somehow, love wins.
And of course, also presenting your coverage here tonight, going to be the likes of Palm Rat Golf. Palm Rat Golf blends classic style with a modern fit designed to move with you from the office to the course to wherever the day takes you. Timeless books, everyday comfort, all in one. Palm Rat Golf, made to move and styled to stand out.
Next up, we want to thank Outlap Motorsports. At Outlap, it's not just about horsepower and lap times. It's about the people behind the wheel. Whether they're in the paddock, in the pits, or even wrenching late nights just like you. Whether they're chasing tents on the stopwatch or just trying to clear your head on a Sunday drive, Outlap's got your back with honest support, real tuning, and a true love for the motorsports scene. Now here's the real talk. Motorsports is more than a hobby. For a lot of us, it's therapy. That's why Outlap proudly supports men's mental health and encourages drivers to check in with each other on and off the track. Fast cars, real talk, Outlap Motorsports.
And of course, coverage also presented tonight by Window Nation. Window Nation is recognized by Forbes as the top vinyl window replacement company in the country. Their energy-efficient windows are designed to keep homes cool during the summer and warm through the winter, all proudly made in the heart of the USA. With expert installation and industry-leading quality, Window Nation is the smart choice for any window replacement project. That's just some of who keeps the lights on here for the Premier Sim Racing SimGamingExpo Truck Series, and Derrick, qualifying currently underway from the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, look at this. The truck of Bradley Holly on screen right now currently has the pole, or I guess currently we're trying to get the pole. Pardon me is what I was trying to say. So look at this bright 184, one of the many pride schemes tonight. Look at that. The rainbow. There's a unicorn. It has a Miracle Flow really embraced, as did the other teams. I think Regan Bogue Motorsports embraced the theme tonight, so lots going on. But Brad's right in the top lane. That tells you this is his first lap, Nolan, because he is up there trying to get every iota of speed he can out of that truck.
It's traditional super speedway qualifying. Run the top on lap 1 to try and build up that momentum. Run the bottom lane on lap 2 with a slight track up towards 1 and 3 to try and carry that speed all the way around the laps. And, well, when you're flat out the whole way around, it may not seem like much, but that top to bottom, that can be the difference of several tenths.
Yeah, it really can. So you see, you really got to be careful with your wheel inputs here. You got to track the truck out just appropriately. You got to do everything perfect, because not even tenths, hundredths of a second will likely determine some of these starting spots. I would predict probably almost everyone is within a second on qualifying time. Doug Evans to the top of the board. Doug Evans here on top of your screen at 51.373. So we'll wait and see how that pairs out. Here's Brad coming out of 4. Look at him doing a beautiful job, Nolan, holding that line, not letting the truck move, not scrubbing speed. Use that little bit of apron. And let's find out. The 51. Waiting for the 389. That's going to put him... I don't see him on the board. It's going to put somewhere on the board. 6th on the board, pardon me.
I'll move back to Nick Byer right now, sitting 23rd with a 51.6, trying to see if he can improve on that time with the number 15 Toyota Tundra. Nick Byer coming across the line this time by 51.6 to beat, gets in a 51.448, so I'm willing to bet likely not run to the top lane on his opening qualifying lap, as that's not going to put him too far on the board. James O'Brien yet to get a lap in, and he is running out of time if he wants to get the second one on there as well.
Yeah, about less than a minute left on the clock here, so around this time. This will be tight, honestly. If he gets back around again, this will be really close. But I noticed he wasn't really running up as far up the wall as I thought maybe he could in that first lap. I saw a lot of space between his truck and the wall, so we'll see what kind of speed he got. A 51.928 the first time by, though. I mean, that's a decent lap. So watching him around here, and again, right in that yellow line, that out-of-bounds line. I'm sure you and I have both discussed it about 1,006 times in our time of broadcasting, how that's out of bounds and not fair and what have you. But doing a good job at a smooth run here. So a 51.9 would have done him pretty far back in the field on the first lap. Let's see if he completes here, as Jeff Evans, by the way, is taking the pole.
Evans takes the pole, Sharp up to second, and Thomas Sink going to go up to the number 6 spot. While O'Brien comes out of turn number 4, 5 seconds on the clock. He is not going to have the time. Going to get caught on the clock right as he hits the Geico restart zone. That is tantalizingly close. But with all that said and done, qualifying draws to a close. So we'll take a rundown through your Profit Python starting grid. Jeff Evans from Miracle Flow Motorsports starts his race from pole with a 51.358. 7,000s off the mark, putting this time in with less than 15 seconds to go, was Andrew Sharp for Rapid Theft Racing. Row number 2 headed up by Robert Barney for the Regenboog Developmental number 26. Alongside him is the Regenboog Motorsport Green number 27 of Steve Loving. Row 3 holds Miracle Flow Motorsports driver Doug Evans in his number 41 Silverado alongside the Grinds Racing number 48 Chevy Silverado of Thomas Sink. Row 4, it's Tabula Rasa Esports number 12 driver James Morgan alongside Knucklehead Motorsports driver Nicholas Seraph. And then row 5, rounded out the top 10 here, going to be Regenboog Motorsports Neon driver Reese Bogue alongside Wannabag Racing's Bradley Hawley.
Moving back down to P11, we'll find Matt Gagnon in that beautiful bright paint scheme for Outlap Motorsports tonight. He's next to Mark Kalin, who won the 6 hours at the Glen last weekend, by the way. Jacob Dunn with Tabula Rasa Esports, and number 3 truck is next to Zachary Burnt, back in P13 and P14. 15th is Stacy Hunter. He's next to Steve Baker, and the number 2 car back in P16. 17th is Doyle Lawrence. He's next to Dustin Bumgarner. That's back in row 9 for 17th and 18th. 19th is Mike Toomer Jr. in that 42 truck. A little bit different look this week. He's next to Kyle Dewey in the 33.
From there, 21st place, it's going to be Brian Topp with the Gold Octopus Motorsports Black number 54 Toyota Tundra. In the Tundra alongside him is the Gold Octopus Motorsports teammate Nick Byer. From there, row number 12 holds Nicholas Schwartz from Miracle Flow Motorsports alongside independent driver Flo Doms. Row 13 holds Matt Scher for Hyperion Racing at the number 43, alongside Wannabag Racing's Colton Lane. Top 26 separated by just a tenth of a second. Jacob Watson for Tabula Rasa Esports starts in 27th alongside Nicholas Acosta. And then rounded out the top 30 is going to be Richard Regan Jr. for Regenboog Motorsports Neon alongside Team Hype's Brandon Walter.
Going to be back in the P31. That's Doug Rice, part of Tabula Rasa Esports in that 35 truck next to Drew Wilkie. That's 31st and 32nd. 33rd is Ted Lowendick all the way back there. He'll be carrying Teddy Jr. on the back of the truck all night long. And Karsten Quint, who won the 6 hours of Glen with Mark Kalin, by the way. Nick Connors back in 35th. With Zach Williams back in 36th. 37th on the board is James O'Brien next to Trace Paderni. And then last on the grid is Evan Williams. And that rounds out your 39 truck field for the Great Pride Ride.
Every second counts on the track and in the world of deals. That's the edge that Profit Python delivers. It's the ultimate Discord for deal hunters and side hustlers with lightning fast alerts on price drops, secret salaries, and hidden jackpots before the rest of the world catches on. The race to profit is on. Scan the QR code to join now. Profit Python, strike fast, profit faster. And boy, you talk about every second counting, Derrick. I mean, that is made evident by the fact that the top 26, with a tenth of a second, separated them, and only a half second all the way back from first to the last qualifier.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race. And I said I thought it'd be that close. I'm surprised it's only the top 26, being honest with you, because, I mean, it's just super speedway qualifying. It's super tight, super close. It's just an amazing time where just every nanosecond, every millimeter of movement matters. And that's going to matter in the race all night long. Patience will be the key, and making the right moves will be the key. We'll see who does it, who does it correctly, and who we crown the winner in about 75 minutes.
As always, we're happy that you joined us here on Wednesday night. As Jeff Evans starts his race from pole, he'll lead us to the Geico Restart Zone. It's time to go, go, go for the World Center of Racing.
Caution, big back of the field. Back of the field. Acosta's involved. Evan Williams involved. More than that, but that's a caution in the back of the field. Nolan wants to kind of wait and see what caused that. There's some words already being shared. Maybe not all of happiness, but we'll wait and see what caused this caution. Unfortunate to see. Sometimes that's the way Daytona goes, Nolan. Just a wreck pretty early.
At least 5 or 6 collected in the melee here. And
oh my God.
Wow. I mean, the 13 of Ted Lower to just try to go through the middle there, and that, wow.
Yep, caught the back end of Nick Acosta, got a little bit up in the air. In fact, up against the kind of back into the wall, maybe only on 2 tires, and caution is out. That's unfortunate. It's going to bring a few cars down pit road. Let's watch again from Lobodic's point of view. It's going to be in the meat in a Tab Rossi Esports sandwich, and just, I mean, he just drifted up. There's no way of looking at that. I mean, that's just what happened. You see on back, you see multiple cars spinning, involved in the smoke. Frustrated.
I mean, you could argue the 816 started the track and drift down just a touch, right? But I mean, it still falls in the case, right? I mean, this is lap 1, turn 1. Is that really the move you want to be making this early on?
You see Lowendick going on through, pushing 3 wide. And, yeah. See 99 Brandon Walter was involved. He was frustrated. More drivers than that. Just
understandably so.
All right, so here we are catching the pace car. Well, while we're doing this, let's go ahead and thank another one of our sponsors, and let's take a look back at last week's race. Now, this is an incredible race we had last week at Lime Rock Speed. We're going to look at some pictures and catch the sights of Lime Rock from courtesy of Mr. Hedge. Look at that. The track workers watching Mike Timmer Jr. go on by. You'll see a couple other beautiful Mr. Hedge screenshots. You see Stacy Hunter and others making their way through a beautiful race, an exciting race, a challenging race. Last week for the drivers of the SimGamingExpo truck season, Matt Gagnon led that race pretty early. And, of course, Richard Regan ended up being your race winner. Sim racing, Nolan, is full of unforgettable moments, and Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography will help you capture them all. From your first win to fresh liveries to even those crashes you'll never forget, Mr. Hedge can turn virtual racing memories into moments worth sharing. Clean, sharp, and made for sim racers. Visit mrhedge.co.uk to get the best moments in focus. Well, as we see the sights and sounds of Lime Rock and an incredible race, I think probably there's a couple drivers who would prefer Mr. Hedge not capture the first lap of this race tonight, because that was an unfortunate wreck in the back of the field, Nolan.
You know, these trucks may be some heavy monsters, right? But you're flying up over the uphill bend at Lime Rock Park. Boy, it sure doesn't feel like you're driving a vehicle that's over 3,000 pounds.
No, it does not. Not even a little bit. So, say right now, Nicholas Acosta, on pit road, getting some more damage fixed. Drew Wilkie has already called it an evening, by the way, as far as I can tell. So, I'm not sure if he was. I think he was involved in that wreck and just frustrated and just went ahead and called it a night. So, we're down 1 driver, possibly more from the wreck, as we're still pacing here right now. So, Jeff Evans still leading. Robert Barney, Andrew Sharp, your top 3. Sharp lost a spot in that start. Steve Loving, Doug Evans, your top 5. Now, Nolan, so Jeff Evans and Doug Evans. Jeff is the son, Doug is the dad. In previous leagues, I've seen these two push each other at super speeds. I've seen, I believe, Jeff pushed Doug to a Talladega win once before. So maybe we could see a cool moment like that before the night is over.
Would not be the first time we've seen those dynasties come around when it comes to the super speedways. Tracks like Daytona, Talladega, that's really where you find out who your rivals are and who your friends are. And, with Doug and Jeff Evans being separated by only one row, both on the inside line, expect those two to be linked up before too long.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully a common, bond they can find here tonight. A couple weeks ago, there was an incident where Doug wrecked Jeff, and I kind of joked that must have made dinner pretty awkward that weekend for the family. But no, they do great. They get along, and all is well. Well, here we go. Let's try to rack it up again. Let's see if we can get some racing in. Excited as we were and amped up and pumped up for Daytona. That lasted for all of about 30 seconds.
Not even. 30 seconds would have put you on the backstretch.
Yeah.
Cautions are long at this place, right? And on a time limit, you really feel every lap ticking by. I mean, again, that caution came out when we had about an hour and 14 and a half minutes to go. We've burned a good 5 minutes of the time. That's 5 laps worth that you could have been racing.
Yeah, that's the challenge of this series. It's hard to figure out right now. All your fuel projections just massively changed. When you needed to stop for fuel because you just did all these laps under yellow instead of under green. That's the challenge of a timed race. We talk about it all the time. Whether it be myself and Evan Posocco or other commentators, we talk about the challenges of not knowing how many laps you're going to run. So we'll see. Well, I'm excited to see if Sharp gets moved out of the way, if Doug Evans kind of gets aggressive, if Sharp is able to be a good pusher here. Sharp is a driver who would love to get up here and have a good run tonight. Did not have a great season 1, but I'm sure he's excited to be up here towards the front of the field.
For the second time, the field will work out of turn number 4, and the Geico restart zone eagerly awaits. As we'll enter the restart zone into the tri-oval, Jeff Evans once again leads the field back to green. Well, all's well ends well this time by, and we make it further than we did on lap number 1 as Jeff Evans continues to pull that inside lane. But up top, that top lane's got speed early doors.
Yeah, look at the side-by-side all the way back. Look at that. You see me just back through the field. A little bit of 3 wide in the back maybe, but pretty calm. That top lane's moving. Robert Barney now is trying to hold as still as possible, trying to get a push from the car behind him, trying to make anything happen because typically science teaches us the bottom lane is the fastest way around. So to get a darn good push, a lot of aggression if you make the top line work at Daytona.
And Robert Barney will be the first driver to lead an official green flag lap at Daytona as he will take that lead away up high, pushed by Steve Loving, but Barney still with a good bit of work to do yet before he fully clears. And you were talking earlier on, Derrick, about how some drivers might be looking to kind of pull their punches a little bit to play the field number.
Well, Richard Regan Jr. is somehow in the back of the field, but just turned the fastest lap. So that kind of shows you a little bit of how both things can be true. He was minorly, I believe, involved in that first incident, but there he is trying to now drive his way through. Easy car to spot. Regan Bogue Motorsports has also went ahead and embraced the Pride theme this evening. Look at that. It's got the Mission 22 logo. It's got the bright rainbow-style chrome on the truck as he got darn close to Dustin Bumgarner. Oh, boy.
I feel like that kind of says a lot about what percentage of throttle these guys are running that, right? I mean, yeah, you can make a few looks like that throughout the course of the early run, but you're not going to make that many spots unless there's some fuel saving going on.
No, and we discussed pre-race. I'm looking at him again, shooting the middle 3 wide. Going to get a little bit of block here. Nope, that's Bumgarner again. You and I discussed that I think this is a fuel mileage race. I think a lot of drivers are going to ride around here at 70% throttle and want to save as much gas as possible.
Oh,
Regan!
no!
Hold on. Oh, no. That's Burt going around.
Oh,
That's Burt going to go back up the track. That's our second yellow. And there's some blown motors in this wreck.
Up into the air
Mike
for the
Schumer's
number
in it.
23. And that has caught half the field.
Wow.
Regan should have lifted. I could see that gap closing from a different zip code.
Yep. Trying to get his way through the field, and boy, Mike Trimmer's involved. You see, obviously, Richard Regan in 56. Zachary Burnt, the truck that was spun. Boy, oh boy, that was unfortunately. You could see that coming ahead. And watch it again here. I mean, it's closing too fast, as you said. And there's the go spin. Burnt gets up off the ground. Oh my God.
Burton nearly going up and over there in turn number 3, and that was looking for a minute there, Derrick, like it was going to turn into what happened to the SRA IAL Truck Series at the top of the year, where Jim Duda, I think it was Jim Duda, got pitched upside down, went barrel rolling into turn 3 on top of half the field.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times in different series. I think you probably saw it a couple times in the new league we do, the For the Boys car tomorrow league on Sunday night. Those cars are known to have a rollover or two. So I'm sure you probably saw some of that. But boy, under caution for the second time, and we're not even 15 minutes in. This is not typical Premier Sim Racing action. There's a little bit of aggression early. People may be excited for Daytona. Look at that. I mean, a lot of cars. Man, Jacob Watson is caught at the very end. There's certainly a lot of trucks involved, but a lot of trucks made some really great saves there as well. So a mix of both. Let's see, some trucks now going to come down pit road. I suspect most of these are going to be Jeff Evans coming down. He's not involved in the wreck. I sort of say, I bet most of the trucks involved, you're not Evan. Evan's off the street. Nolan. That would be people in the wreck, but no, that's not the case.
I appreciate the compliment, first off. But yeah, I mean, some drivers not caught up in the wreck. It's looking like it could be maybe drivers trying to keep on cycle the field, right? You don't want to ever be caught out. And I think some of these guys, they thought, well, if everyone else is coming in, I may as well go down with them, so that way I'm not off cycle by a big amount.
Yeah, I mean, again, you do it here because fuel. I mean, that's why you pit here. If you're Jeff Evans, you give up the lead, which that's hard to do. I just want to talk about that for a second. That is extremely hard to do, to give up the lead here, because we've now seen 2 pretty quick wrecks from the back of the field. When you're back there, you sort of feel like you're in the danger zone, right? You maybe cannot avoid what may happen next. So I admire the courage of Jeff Evans and others to do that, because yeah.
Well, the caution flag back out this afternoon.
Well, I mean, this is Daytona, right? I know a lot of times we come in these races and we have high expectations, and as a driver, you get amped up, you get excited. It's Daytona, you get to go draft, you get to kind of play the very, very high speed of game of chess, right, or checkers in some cases, and then these things happen. And now the problem for some drivers is it's almost like this up down style of energy and emotion and everything going on in your head, and it's really difficult as a driver to kind of go through these ebbs and flows, Nolan, where it's hard to kind of stay focused, right? I mean, these are long pace laps. We're going to be looking at about a minute and a half per pace lap. You're looking at now 3 quick restarts within the first probably 15 minutes of the race. It's hard to stay focused. It's hard to keep amped up, and it's hard to keep locked in and focused as this race goes. Watch it one more time. This is Richard Regan. This gets in the back of Zachary Burnt. Watch Burnt here. Oh boy, that's not how a truck's supposed to be sitting.
Ooh, and Lawrence going right through on the bottom side there. Really was one of the few trucks to actually get around that.
Yeah, I said I thought there was a couple great saves in there and a couple of near misses, and that's going to be probably, that may go in your save compilation for the channel, actually. It
may. First one of the season. Unfortunately, that big one is not going to be the first one of the Crashes Comp for July. Global IndyCar Challenge beat the guys to that one earlier today in Imola.
Yeah, I saw that one today as well. That was a massive wreck. You haven't seen that yet, you can go on the Green Flag TV YouTube channel and check that out. I want to say hello, and everyone. Well, hello and welcome everyone in the YouTube chat. Wondrous Perspectives, Nanya, my favorite username, Not the Best Sim Racer. It's good to be self-aware sometimes. as well as
Hey,
I
it's
know I'm
me.
in there.
It's my alt account.
That may be my best alt account too. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. Please stay active. We see you, even if we don't always comment or respond. We're a little busy yapping our gums, but we do see you all the time. Mike Toomer Jr. down pit road once again with 1 to go here. Maybe just getting some more repairs done. But now a new leader. It's Robert Barney up top.
Robert Barney leads the way. Steve Lovey second. Sharp and Doug Evans going to be the 2 main pushers here. As we'll work once again out of turn number 4. And Robert Barney from the bottom lane going to look to lead this field back to green. Loving wasting no time and cutting to the inside lane. Wanted nothing to do with what was up top. About a 6-7 truck breakaway here is the number 41. Going to tuck in line as well as Doug Evans.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is finally going to calm down, if this is really just ever going to get to a calm stage. It looks like right now, look at that. I mean, we've got basically one big line. I think I see 2, maybe 3 trucks up top. Now it's starting to form, but, well, for a second it was calm.
Up top, Doyle Lawrence, the driver that just slipped through the bottom side of the big one, trying to drive to the front. He has gotten around Gagnon. He's gotten around Bogue. He's going to get around Sharp. Now Loving, the next one in line, up the road. All of this with no help as he pulls him back with a side draft combined with their fuel saving. Loving going to drop, and now Barney, the only one that stands between Lawrence and the lead.
Yeah, I think it's more so the fuel saving. That side draft does help. These trucks, of the top 3 national NASCAR vehicles in iRacing, give you the best draft, right? Of the trucks, the Xfinity cars, and the Gen 7s or Next Gens or what do you want to call them, these have the best pull. These are a blast to drive on a super speedway because of that process. But then you see now, as the draft kicks in and people get up to speed, there's Sharp, there's Reese Bogue, there is Matt Gagnon in the 14 on back. They're going to start now to pass that single car. You can only pull that move for so long before they begin to come back around and get to you. So he'll fall back. Boy, look at this though. This is getting a little busy back here. There's Colton Lane, the 54 is back there. So a few drivers in the middle of the field. Now we're starting to get too wide. Now, if they stay patient and they catch Doyle Lawrence up top, this could be a race for the lead. I think that's Thomas Sink up there, the second truck, and that Grinds machine that's trying to get up there and catch Doyle Lawrence.
Barney continues to lead the way, Loving right behind him as Doyle Lawrence trying to go up top. He's been doing a good job on holding his own, and now he might be about to go to the front because he's got a big line of trucks behind trying to help him out. Thomas Sink thought about going and opening up the third lane. Instead, he's going to give a fierce shot to the shorts of the 88.
Wild shot that frankly wasn't quite smooth. I'm happy that worked as well as it did, because typically when 2 trucks are kind of slightly sliding like that during a push, especially in the tri-oval, you can sometimes send a truck spinning. So great news. Don't bump that way, Tom. Oh my gosh, please be in the center in the back of the bumper. And so to explain for those who may not know, maybe you have a family member in this race or you've not done it before, if you don't push directly to the back of that bumper, then what's going to happen is you're going to kind of move that truck in a certain angle, right? If you bump him from the back right corner, you're going to send that truck moving to the left. And so every time Tom bumps off center, I get a little bit more nervous about what may happen here.
Double file.
Remember I said it was calm? Remember I said, what was that thing I said? Like, was it a minute ago? A single file, 1 truck up top? That's not a thing anymore.
I mean, I'd still call it pretty calm. I mean, 2 lanes is pretty calm by most super speedway standards. It's when you start to make those peaks for 3, I think, is when you start to get a little bit more twitchy with it.
Yeah. By the way, I was critical of the Jeff Evans call for gas. That's Jeff Evans up there, 3rd in line already, by the way, I do believe. So that bright Miracle Flow Pride ride didn't take him long to find the front again. Well, I don't want to say it. Man, it feels like things are calming down. It feels like now we're getting into Daytona mode. Now we're just kind of riding around. Now we're doing what I call, Nolan, live science experiments, right? Who's fun to push, who's not fun to push, who's a good pusher, who's not a good pusher. Now you're learning things, right? Because there's still a little less than an hour to go in this race. So no move right now is going to win you this race. But the knowledge you're learning right now, who pushes you well, who holds their line, who doesn't make dangerous moves, that info, if you can store it away properly and you can use it in about, 45 minutes from now, could possibly win you the race.
Still 32 of the 39 on the lead lap, as Barney continues to lead the way. You are on board with the deck lid of the driver of the number 26. Up high, Doyle Lawrence once again being pushed up there by Thomas Sink, just not able to clear. And again, the fuel saving prevalent, as it so often is nowadays, since it really became known that it was an option.
Right. So, of course, the people not fuel saving, you could argue, is Robert Barney and Doyle Lawrence, right? Because there is no fuel saving when you're the front car. There's no car in front of you to help break that air, and kind of you have to be full throttle, or you're going to do some really awful things to the back of the field. But my guess is if we went on board with someone probably 5, 6, 7 cars deep here, I'm sure they're not full throttle. I'm sure the RPMs are not maxed out. I'm sure that we'll hear a little bit of not full throttle. Let's watch right here. This is on board with Steve Baker. Let's listen in for a second. Well, I mean, that's a bit of a checkup, but I mean, we're down below 7,000 RPMs. I mean, in multiple bits of lifting here, Nolan. So, obviously, fuel savings happening. Yeah, that 7,000 is not the max RPMs on this truck by any means.
Oh, absolutely not. And tracks like Michigan and Auto Club will bring out what the max RPMs are, and it is nowhere close to what these guys are running here this afternoon. So, again, the fuel numbers going to be something to keep an eye out for throughout the entire duration of this race as drivers try to... I think you and I kind of compared it right to a game of chicken. And there you see Richard Regan Jr. down low and going to let the field by.
By the way, this in of itself is a story. I mean, we joke sometimes about the dominance of Richard Regan Jr. and how, in races he's won and how he's won. He's in the head in the points, and he's this and he's that. Richard Regan is a lap down. He has a lap down. In fact, he's 4 laps down at Daytona. Like that, in and of itself, I know we're having fun with Daytona. We're, focusing the pride theme, and we're talking about Robert Barney leading, and we should. But Richard Regan, at 4 laps, I would all but guarantee you, is not winning this race. We're going to see a new winner in Season 2 of the SimGamingExpo Truck Series. If he comes back and wins this from 4 laps down, I'm not going to say I quit, but I don't know.
I mean, it'd be demoralizing, that's for sure. Especially
there's going to be some really crazy things for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there you see Robert Barney currently leading the way in the points. That is as they run on the right side of the screen. You can see how much points they got, or what they got currently, and exactly by how much they are gaining. So right now, Barney by far the biggest benefactor of this race. He is right now up 14 from Matt Gagnon.
And the fun of super speedway racing is with how much these guys move back and forth and up and down and gain a spot, lose a spot. That thing could change probably about 25 times a lap if it wanted to. I mean, that's just, like this, a point here, a point there, and all the other stuff. So, yeah, you see the impact of Regan's, wreck and being involved in the first wreck, and then basically the cause of the second is, falling down to 3rd place. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Remember, at some point later in the season, drop weeks will take effect. You would almost think, short of something weird happening, this made it be Regan's drop week. When you're 4 laps down the back of the field running 33rd, that sounds like a good drop week candidate to me. So now the problem for Regan for the rest of the season is he can't have another bad week, right? You've done it in the 3rd week. So we'll wait and see what happens. But look at this back up front. It's still Barney. It's still Lawrence. Thomas Sink has backed off a little bit, by the way. If you notice that up top, there's now some gap there. And I'm sure if you're Doyle Lawrence, you kind of wish there wasn't a gap there. Probably hoping to get pushed a little harder.
I'm sure the drivers at the front would not mind being pushed, right? Because, I mean, a big chunk of the field is kind of saving fuel back here. So they wouldn't mind being pushed around. It helps them save a bit of fuel while also keeping much higher speed up. But when everybody's trying to save fuel, it becomes such a difficult thing to try to navigate, especially in a race like this as you ride on board now with Matt Gagnon.
Matt there has ditched the aviators. Picked up the hat this week for the GR, for the Toyota Gazoo Racing. So a little bit of a new look for Matt this week. Looks locked in. I love watching Matt. I make fun of it sometimes, Nolan, but I say all the time, if I was on webcam, the biting the lip, the tongue sticking out, the talking to yourself, that's how I drive. So I get it. That's just my sort of normal mode. But it does show you just how intense this can be when you're sitting there biting your lip and kind of tense, kind of nervous, just kind of waiting for the next thing to happen, right? As Matt's doing a great job here holding a line. Look how smooth the inputs of that wheel are.
And you gotta be smooth. At Daytona, there's not a lot of room to make those kind of drifts that you might be able to get away with at a track like, say, Charlotte, Atlanta, or even some of the shorter tracks like Dover. Not here. Here you gotta be precision perfect. And that's just it, right? It looks easy. It looks so easy to just run in the line. But good luck trying to keep the pace up at 180 plus miles an hour consistently while not running over the guy in front of you, Richard Regan Jr., fastest lap of the race.
Yeah. Well, speaking of making it look easy, and is it easy, let's ask someone who's been involved in some incidents already tonight. Mark Kalin, not the night you wanted. I guess it's not that easy out there, huh?
Well, when you got people being aggressive 5 minutes into the race, it just throws a wrench in everything. I think everyone, for the most part, was just trying to settle into a long haul there, and then unfortunately someone was shooting up the middle and just caused a massive wreck nowhere I could have gone. So it's just sad because super speedways are one of my stronger fortes, and just didn't get the Solpec Precision Racing Ford F-150 into victory lane tonight, and it's just a real bummer.
Boy, look at that headgear. That's an impressive piece of headgear you got right there, Mark. I appreciate that. That's a new look for you. I like that.
Yeah, I figured go all out for the Great Pride ride here at Daytona this week, and add a little pizzazz to my uniform for the night.
Well, not the night you wanted. It's kind of a bit of a high and low for you this week, I think, because obviously you and Karsten won the 6 hours of Glen over the weekend. You're in a prototype of some kind, right?
Yeah, we were in the BMW hybrid prototype, and ended up winning our split. So that was very fun with Carson. And unfortunately, he got taken out tonight too. I don't know if it was in the first or second wreck, but yeah, his night's over as well.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, but it would not be a Mark Kalin interview if I don't ask the obvious question. Where's the Titanic?
It's currently in storage. If you can see the paint cans behind me, I'm currently working on remodeling this room, so it's taking a little longer than I anticipated, but all my Legos are off in the other room, so.
Fair enough. Well, Mark, not the run you wanted tonight. Congrats on the 6-hour win this past weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Gateway.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
All right, thanks, bud. Well, Nolan, overall, pretty high spirits, all things considered. You would not sure when you interview a driver after a wreck at Daytona what the mood's going to be.
I think he's a good sport about it, right? I mean, yeah, stuff happens. It's unfortunate, but you go out, you get him at the next time out. Mike Toomer Jr. going to go down a lap as well. That's going to put these guys 3 wide. Bit of excitement there on the longest green flag run so far of the night.
Yeah, a bit of excitement as well. Well, listen, Mark indicated we've called it the Great Pride Ride. I want to bring in a special guest and do a little promotion and kind of talk about the theme of Pride. We're going to bring in Zach Moses, one of the co-hosts of the Gay Racing Podcast. You can find it purchased on all platforms. Zach, first off, it's been an interesting race so far tonight, right? I don't hear Zach. Let's see if we can get Zach to...
Oh, hello.
There you are. It's been an interesting race so far, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally found their groove now. Just some green flag running. I've been in many official races before where that looked like the start of this race, but I found a good groove.
So tell everyone a little bit. I mean, obviously it's called the Gay Racing Podcast, but give everyone the sales pitch. Tell them about your podcast, what to expect if they tune into an episode.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, me and my podcast partner Alex, and he's also someone who's gay like me, we kind of found there was like a lapse of queer and LGBTQ plus people in just racing in general, like the mediascape, and we wanted to kind of fill that gap because I just, I look back when I was like 15 years old and I started to come to terms with my own identity. I was like, well, how am I going to be a NASCAR fan? Because gay people don't like NASCAR. That was the thought I had in my head. So we kind of started this podcast as a way to have that platform. Definitely something that I think not only provides a different perspective, but it's something that I wish I had when I was younger. Like, I wish I had two gay people talking about NASCAR on the internet. I think that just, we've had people message us. It helps them a lot, I guess. So just something that I think we definitely needed.
And to be clear, you do talk NASCAR, but it's not just NASCAR. I mean, you guys talk
Right.
IndyCar, you talk IMSA, you talk a little bit of everything. I mean, I think it's almost fair to say your co-host may be one of the biggest Joseph Newgarden fans.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
definitely. Yeah, and trust me, I'm a Joseph fan too, but I don't think I can get to Alex's level. And it's pretty easy though when he sees Joseph win like 6 or 7 times because he's gone to Iowa, Gateway, the Indy 500. He's seen him win so much. But yeah, we try to talk about a bunch of different racing, primarily NASCAR, but we try to keep up with everything else as well.
So the theme of tonight, the Great Pride Ride, talks a lot about love and equality and acceptance, and you kind of hit on that a little bit. What you said, why you wanted to start the podcast, but I mean, you're also a fellow iRacer. Sometimes that just it doesn't always feel like the most welcoming of places, and so sometimes
Yeah.
events like this are important to kind of spread that message that like it is okay here, right?
Right, I felt like because I got into iRacing just last year in 2024, and I felt almost like I was starting all over again. It's like, well, gay people might like racing, but do gay people play iRacing? Like, I do I belong here? And I made like my own paint scheme with the podcast on my car, and there's definitely been a few races where I'm like, are people getting mad at me because I did something stupid, or are people getting mad at me because I have rainbows on my car? You never really know. I feel like I have a target on my back sometimes.
So if you could talk to 15-year-old Zach right now, if he was able to watch this broadcast, what would you say?
I already think it's the coolest thing because, again, I didn't know there. 25-year-old me is like, I didn't know there's sim racing leagues that are actually like going out and celebrating it like loud and proud, like how it should be. It's the coolest thing. There needs to be more of this in the community, and we definitely, our podcast got to talk to Nate Stewart, who is a pansexual iRacer in the Coke series, and we got to talk about his season. So I'm trying to kind of do that as well, like get more of the pride out there in the sim racing world. So definitely check that episode out, and we also got to talk to someone from Prismatic Motorsports, which is a non-binary transgender racing team. They do like some sports car stuff on the service, but yeah, it's really good to see that the sim racing world is open to everybody, how it should be. And I want to thank you guys for kind of doing your part in it as well.
Well, if someone wants to find the Gay Racing Podcast, how do they do it? I think we lost Zach again.
Oh, hello. Sorry.
There you are.
You went out.
Oh, sorry. I was saying if someone wants to find the Gay Racing Podcast, how do they do it?
We are at Gay Racing Pod on all platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, really wherever you get your podcasts, and you can follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, X, whatever it's called, and to keep up with latest news, episodes, and all that.
All right. Well, listen, it's a pleasure. I have fun listening and watching the podcast. You guys do great work. It may be a little late, but I'll say anyways, happy Pride Month.
Yep, thank you. And thank you guys for racing at Daytona July 4th weekend, how it should be.
Yeah, you know what? Nolan and I haven't talked about that yet. That's a good point. Maybe we'll hit that next. But Zach, thank you for your time. Congrats on the podcast, and we'll talk soon.
All right, have a good broadcast, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Nolan, he's right. Of all the points we hit, it's Daytona and the 4th of July. How did I forget?
You'll have to fill me in. I'm not I don't see. I'm not sure this.
How
is
many 4th of July weekends did NASCAR run in real life at the at Daytona?
Right.
The
yes.
Pepsi 400, the Firecracker
Yes.
400, the Coke Zero 400, and
I can't.
it's
believe
only
we
been
talked about that.
what 5 years maybe since they moved away from doing Daytona, and they've kind of moved it around and played with it. But gosh, you're right. How much more iconic could it be than Daytona 4th of July?
Well, I guess he found the more iconic duo than the Daytona 500.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, but remember back in the 80s and maybe even, I don't know, maybe 80s, maybe the latest, maybe 90s. Remember the 4th of July Daytona race was a morning race so that families could go out and watch the race and then still go see the fireworks at night. And then, of course, that became the tradition where after the race was the fireworks show. And, of course, there's sometimes fireworks during the race. But, yeah, a great tradition. Well, this whole time we talked to Zach, and one thing again, thanks Zach Moses with the Gay Racing Podcast. Robert Barney is still leading. He has done a great job holding his line, and it does show you this fuel saving thing must be happening here, Evan. Gosh, I'm going to get that right eventually. Your name is Nolan. Evan Posocco, our normal
How long have
commentator.
we worked together at this point?
I know. It just shows you this fuel strategy is just got to be the thing because no one seems eager to pass with a lead.
Oh, Doyle Lawrence has a problem. He is just called. He's staying high and has to be passed low. Not sure what this is all about, but Lawrence dropping back. Maybe a fuel number he's trying to hit?
I think so. Because there's no... It's one of two things. Either it's got to be he wants to get back there for fuel, or maybe he had some kind of technical hiccup because, you don't blow a motor from the front.
He's trying to come to pit road. Oh, this is not going to go well, and oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Well, we got, boy, Doyle Lawrence just got run over on the front straightaway as the field continues to run around turns 1 and 2. He may have be running out of fuel.
I'm so confused what happened. I mean, he didn't pit under the first caution, so that may tell you we're coming close to pit stops. And listen, I told you earlier, if you're leading this field, you're not saving fuel. So maybe you're right, maybe out of fuel, but here's more pittings. I hear some more pit calls. So you're right, this must be our first window. Oh my gosh, Sharp is in, Barney's in. Is that maybe Bumgarner in the black truck? I can't tell. No, that's not Bumgarner. That's Doug Evans. Sorry. Ooh, that was close to the wall.
I'd give it a pit entry camera there. Some entertainment to look at as pre-flight pit stops are underway.
One credit you, by the way. Doyle Lawrence just came over the driver radio and said, guys, I'm sorry I was out of fuel and didn't notice it until the last second. But
oh, boy.
A couple of drivers were upset. Trace Paderni was surprised by the Doyle Lawrence pitting as we were.
Here we go.
Was not happy. Watch this here.
He's trying to find a hole, and he just... Oh,
look at Trace. Oh, my gosh. Who's that? Is that the blue? That might have been Doug Rice that hit Lawrence because Lawrence didn't say anything. You got to communicate better. I mean, that's... Yeah. With all due respect to Doyle, you got to do better at communicating.
Well, and Rice pointed that out of the driver, right? He was like, hey, can we communicate that, please? And he's got a point. I mean, if you got to come to pit road, you got to come to pit road, but you got to let everybody else know so they can, quickly jump up high to give you the room.
Yeah, 100%. So this is going to spread this race out a little bit because remember, watch this from Doug Rice's point of view, and I'll come back to my point. That's Paderni up ahead of him.
Had no idea.
None. So the question now is going to be, how bad is that truck? Did Rice luck out? Or is that going to be some really awful damage? We'll wait and later and find out. But I was going to say, this is going to really spread this race out. Because now we have drivers who pitted under one of those first two yellows. Sink, Evans, Baker, Lane, Tope, and more. By the way, Doug Evans coming down again. Just want to point that out. Okay, maybe he didn't pit the first time. Maybe I had a different truck number. I thought he came down with that big herd. I may have had a different truck number. But this is going to spread this out. Those guys who pitted about 9 laps in have a bit more gas than the rest of the field. So for a little bit now, this is going to spread this field pretty wide open. And you're going to have two very distinct drafting lines trying to catch one another.
And right now, Thomas Sink has got some good slipstream from a group of 3 that has already pitted, with Andrew Sharp, Nick Serif, and Matt Gagnon just in front of him. So that's letting Thomas Sink save a little bit of precious fuel, as he's got 3 right ahead of him. And it's not going to matter because here comes everyone.
So this will be most of the field.
boy.
Colton Lane upset, by the way. Look at that. Spun around on pit road. Wait and see what happened there. Doing a whole donut there, trying to get himself righted back around. But there's Sink. There's Evans. So who does that leave out on the track? I believe that leaves Dunn, Morgan, Hunter, Holly, Lowendick, Flo Dams, and Acosta, Jacob Watson, and Trace Paderni. And then Doug Rice. So most of Tabula Rasa Esports, if not all of them, and a couple other drivers still out on track.
Brian Topp is the one that got into the back as they came down to pit road. Just hit him on the right rear quarter panel, and 2 more staying out, 2 more coming in, make it 4 more coming in. And that coming down is Holly, Hunter, Lowendick, and Dams. Everyone else continuing to stay out on the racetrack. So Dunn and Morgan, all in the league of their own up front.
Yeah, we've seen this this duo, I believe, was it last season in PSR? Remember, these guys had a moment with gas mileage at the end of a super speedway race where they were under caution. Watch this here. First off, I'll tell the story in a second. Here's from Evan Williams' point of view. Oh, that's Brian Tope. I'm sorry. That's Brian Tope. Yeah, he just hit the back end of the lane and then off in the grass he went. So that's unfortunate. But we had a moment in a super speed race with these guys where Dunn and Morgan were leading. The caution came out, and Morgan ran out of gas under caution, out of 4 coming to the checker. Had to finish basically last. Dunn went on and won the race because the rules say in PSR you can't push. You can't push him to win, obviously. But yeah, it came that close to a win. So these guys love super speed racing in the league. They've always done well. They've always made the team proud. And so there you got Dunn in purple. You got Morgan in red. Acosta is 3rd in line as far as standings in the orange. So there you go. We'll wait and see how this works out. There's the track map. And you can see where they are. So they put it 9 laps later than the field. You have to think even they're not very far. No, remember, part of those 9 laps were caution laps. So probably only 4 or 5 laps of gas I would think they have on the field. But now look at this. They're tucked in line behind Brandon Walter and some others. Even though they're leading, the leaders are getting a draft. That's not something we say very often.
No, it is not. But hey, whatever works. I mean, you got to find the draft somewhere. And if these lap trucks are to keep you from running out of fuel, as well, oh, one truck hard into the wall.
That's Dunn. That's Saraf up in the wall. Sorry, that was.
Fence.
Yeah, Dunn I saw.
No
go to the inside.
caution.
Nope, it's going to be down in the grass as long as he keeps it down here. And that truck must be broken because he's making no attempt to move that on around.
Had to have been a bad bump there. Had to have. And yeah, just got the back end lifted up.
That's from Matt Gagnon. Matt Gagnon got pushed from behind, I believe. And that caused him to push Matt and then on from there. And that car hit that outside wall pretty hard. I'm sure something is probably broken in that truck. There's Trace Paderni, by the way. That yellow Tabula Rasa Esports machine. It's now down on pit road. So you're starting to get some small hints of when drivers are going to pit here. There's Saraf coming down pit road.
That is the live. That was the live look of Saraf as he came down as well, right ahead of Trace Paderni. Well, that's not what the leaders are hoping to see. That makes it a bit awkward for them. And how about this? 2 more coming down to pit road. That is 1 and 2. James Morgan locks it down, clips the grass. That might be a black flag.
I would think so. I was getting ready to check timing and scoring to see. So far, nothing assessed to James Morgan. I thought he would have got it on pit entry for hitting that cone. What if he got away with one there? It's going to lose a lot of time. It's really going to kill him and his teammate, though, because now they're both going to be single-car drafts. But watch this again. Going to get on the brakes. He's trying to attack pit road. I don't know how that's not a penalty. I don't get it.
Meanwhile, 3 wide down the front straightaway with 1 caught in the middle. That is Bradley Holly that runs the middle groove and nearly got into top of Sink. He's just going to find an opening down low. as this larger pack starts to reform in force.
And there's the pass for the lead. So this is the lead pack now. Jeff Evans is once again leading here at Daytona. He's got Sink, Holly, Bogue, and others on back. There's the onboard view for Bradley Holly. Man, I love that Brad always has the room lit up like the car. So you see the bright colors on the car this week for Brad's got the unicorn, the rainbow, the clouds, the whole 9 yards. So the bright pink room, all the Lego sets and everything. There's Brad's helmet cam, if you will. So he gives us a view of what he sees in iRacing. That one big ultra-wide monitor. Well, right now, all he sees in front of him is the bumper of other cars. He sees an opportunity to win a race, and he's going to see if he can make that happen in about 30 minutes.
See, I know on most of our productions, we got those, like, virtual simulated helmet cams, right? I mean, that's the real deal right there.
It is right there, yep. It's an idea Brad had about a year ago now, I think.
I like it.
Mounting a webcam to his headset. Doing there. There's Doyle Lawrence up top, I believe, moving to the back of the field. Here's Brad again, by the way. You see this now.
I love this.
Riding in the back of the field here.
Comparison versus the real thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. Again, it's got the standings, got the overlay and the metrics in the top left. It's got the track map on the top right, so you can kind of see where everything's happening. And then the monitor right in front of him. So great run here by Brad, right behind Thomas Sink in the grinds machine. So you think about the all pitted right there. I would suspect probably, I would have to think, Nolan, no one is safe as far as pit stops go. Everyone's going to have a second pit stop. There's James Morgan. He's now going to get lapped by this field. By the way, not a surprise since he had that bad pit run. Reese Bogue is now leading, by the way. That happened while we were watching some of our onboards. Reese Bogue, driver who's not made every race this season, but making an impact here. And there's Morgan doing a great job getting back in line. But so I was going to say, I don't think no one's done pitting. The second pit stops may really be the money stop, Nolan. And that may determine who finishes where based on how well you get on pit road, how much time you spend on pit road, and how fast you get off of pit road.
It's going to be a tall order for drivers to continue. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tall order for drivers to... I completely lost my train of thought, Derek.
We're talking about fuel mileage, and if anyone can pit, or everyone should have to pit again. I don't think that's up for contention. I mean, everyone pitted after about 30 laps or so, maybe a little more than that on the trucks. Here's another truck going a lap down. That's Doug Rice. Saw him involved earlier. So this will, after Doug is lapped, this will be a second lap down, I believe, for Rice, by the way. So we'll wait and see if that's true with timing and scoring and where that hangs out. But I believe right now, Nolan, we're going to have 26 cars still on the lead lap. That was Rice getting lapped for the first time. So, yeah, I think 34 trucks still on the track and 25 or 6 on the lead lap.
Well, Derek, tell you what, we usually do this around the halfway point. It's a little bit past that, but hey, better late than never. It's been an interesting race so far. Let's get a look at the Miracle Flow team update. Check in on some of the folks that have been running strong throughout the course of the night. Of course, Bradley Holly, a driver that was running up front, still kind of running up in the top 10. Had a bit of a close shave a little while ago. He still runs very much inside the top 10s. Both Evans, both in this leading pack, one in 4th, one all the way back in 11th place as well, but both still running strong. We talked about the potential for them to potentially have some big movements as well. They might be able to get some action in there before long. And alongside Doug Evans is Nicholas Schwartz, the driver of the 171, who continues to make tracks as well. Yeah, these guys are all doing great. You see Jeff Evans on screen here. So we'll go back and we'll find the others in a second. As I believe some other pit stops being called right now. It's got to be off-cycle stops. I'm not sure what's going on there. There's Brad Holly again. We'll back to the field, and you'll find Doug Evans and Nicholas Schwartz. There is Doug in the black car, number 41, with the stripes on the side, embracing the Pride Ride theme. Doug's having a great run. Qualified well. I mean, still riding pretty well. Riding in P12 currently. Down 6 spots from the starting spot, but still a great run so far for Doug Evans. Then we'll move back through the field, I believe, and find Schwartz. So right inside. That's a pretty easy camera move right there, isn't it?
Swartz also there, 171. Did not make the race last week, so has already used his drop week effectively. So having a great run here for Nicholas up in P12, as he just is now one spot behind Doug. They're passing back and forth for 11th and 12th, and that is your Miracle Flow team updates. Let me tell you, Nolan, about Miracle Flow. Miracle Flow is more than hair care. It is built for the bold. Now they're founded in Rochester, New York, back in 2015, and they were created to elevate both your look and your lifestyle. They're made in the USA and crafted for real performance. It's trusted by those who show up ready, whether that's the game time out with your friends or whether it's for a night out on the town. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, just results. Miracle Flow, because your flow isn't just style, it's a statement. Well, the statement being made by the Miracle Flow team tonight is we want to win, Nolan. Jeff has led some laps. Brad's been trying to get up there and lead some laps. They're all four up in like the top 13 of the standings, I believe, last I looked. The statement tonight is win.
Now the question is, when does the big one happen again, now that we have very much sown the seeds with the commentator's curse?
What did you just... Yeah, you just did that yourself. That address all comments to Nolan Rimple.
Hold on. Hear me out. My thought is, we talked really good about these drivers. If we acknowledge the commentator's curse, we can reverse psychology. It worked at Homestead. We went caution free there. It worked on Monday. Look, I have a strategy. It's all right. This is viable. Trust me on this.
I'm going to ask my producer, Dustin Ollis, if the wreck happens, can you just put up Nolan's Discord name on the screen for all complaints and concerns if or when that does happen? I don't want any part of that commentator's curse, but man, it's still a great race here. Steve Baker, by the way, is taking the lead away. Steve Loving is up here as well. So some more cycling through, as now you kind of get the feeling some drivers are kind of tired of waiting. By the way, that's Richard Regan Jr. up top. That top car up top is not fighting for the win. He's fighting for a lap back, basically. 4 laps down, but doing a good job. But I got to tell you, Nolan, I suspect there may be some drivers who are not happy that Richard Regan is leading the top lane when you're 4 laps down.
I mean, lap cars at Daytona have led to some big excitement before. I think most notably, Derrick, the Bolt Racing League with their Lightning Series, with their season over at Daytona, right? I mean, lap cars easily led to a 0.002 of a second photo finish. So Regan Jr.'s got a good chance to be a major disruption for this field, even if he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does realize it because that's a teammate behind. So Evan Williams, part of Regan Bogue Motorsports on back, and so he knows what he's doing. He knows that he is trying to help his teammates win this race as we can pull them along. But if you're someone not on RBM, you're probably not thrilled that he's up there, right? If he's your command, like Doug or different drivers back there, maybe, hey man, can you get out of the way? By the way, look at that. This is your front pack, and if we go the camera on back, I saw a second pack back here, Nolan. Now this pack, they're doing 2 things. One, they're trying to stay single file and catch the front pack. This is Jacob Dunn, Matt Gagnon, Andrew Sharp, I saw back here, Flo Doms, Trace Paderni, Walter, Stacy Hunter. The second thing I like what they're doing here, by the way, they're trying to sit back. So if something does happen up front, in theory, this group can check up and not be involved in something. So if that Nolan Rimple big one does happen, they think they're safer from it.
I don't like how you put my name on that.
Yeah, you notice how I did that, right? Notice how I it's like a sponsorship almost, you know?
That's not, I didn't agree to this. This is slander.
Yeah, but yeah, they're doing a great job here.
Okay.
Producer Dustin Ollis having some fun. But yeah, they're doing a great job. I like this strategy. This is I like to play the super sweetest. Now, the problem they have, Nolan, all kidding aside, for Sharp, Gagnon, Dunn, the others, is if this race never does have that yellow flag, they're well behind the lead.
.21.5 minutes to go, and they are actually catching just a little bit. Sharp last time by ran a 47.821. The first car in that pack, ran about 0.6 of a second slower, so you can see there They're catching by about half a second a lap right now. That's not nothing.
No, so two things are in play here. One, this group is single file. There's no side draft slowing them down. That's the first part they have going for them. The second part is actually, it's a slightly, I believe, smaller line than the draft pack up front. And there is such a thing as having too long of a draft line, because what happens is towards the back of that pack, checkups start occurring, people start lifting, people start maybe stabbing the brake just a quick second, and it kills that momentum. So sometimes having a smaller draft pack actually is to your advantage. But the fact that, look, oh my gosh, we're now 3 wide up here with Morgan up top, and every time that happens and everyone kind of swings back and forth and snakes or whatever, or serpentines, whatever word you want to use, then it creates this field to slow down a little bit, right? See James O'Brien in the middle there. Morgan's up top in the 12. Nick Byers up there in that pink car. But Morgan, I don't think, wants to be here for the record. Morgan's trying to find a way out of this. Morgan wants off this ride, so to speak. He just can't find a way out of it, I don't think.
Well, and if you can't get out, you may as well go forward, because he is put to the floor trying to drive that thing all the way up to the front, and he's using the side draft for the outside wall to try and give him a boost. Now he's got some help, because jumping up high with him and falling back is Richard Regan Jr.
Yeah, he left him. That's really 2 lapped cars were working together there. And the other challenge that Morgan has for the moment, by the way, he is currently in that lucky dog position. He is the first car 1 lap down. He is trying to hopefully, in his mind, stay out of whatever may happen here. Of course, he would also love to get to the front and just kind of, earn that lap back the quote-unquote old-fashioned way. So we'll see what happens here. Now Regan moves to the inside of him. I think maybe Richard Regan took note of the fact that Morgan didn't push, just for the record. I think that may have stuck in Richard's mind, honestly. Oh, boy, that wall is... Yeah, boy. If it's not getting hugged, it's not far from getting hugged by that 12 truck. I mean, that's... Ugh.
And James Morgan also having to deal with Regan Jr. down on this inside. It's always a tight place to be. 3 wide at Talladega, you're able to do that pretty easily without much troubles, right? I mean, that's not an issue at all, but... Boy, you start to get 3 wide here at Daytona. It's got, like, a lane and a half of less room, and... all of a sudden, the track doesn't seem so wide anymore.
No, it doesn't, right? I mean, obviously Talladega is a little wider than this, but 3 wide is doable, but it does feel a little tight when that's happening. So good news is, for the most part, Nolan, every car that is a lap down, for the most part, that's in this pack at least, is on pace, right? We're not seeing too many examples of a lap car slowing down anybody. When you have Morgan, Regan down there, Doug Rice, Kyle Dewey. When we see them on track in these packs, they're on pace. They're just cars that maybe got caught up in a bad moment. They got lapped, that can't get it back. But look at this on screen, by the way. We talked about how that gap was closing. It was about 6.8 seconds last time I think we looked. It's now down to about 4.7. So they are catching. I suspect about the time they catch here, Nolan, though, should be time for final pit stops.
And I think they're just gunning it flat out, because they've realized, hey, everyone's going to need to come down to pit road again, and we may as well just run it from here. Yep. No point in trying to... I think the only thing you could gain at this point is having to spend less time in the pits filling up on gas.
Yep, past the lead right there, by the way. Evan Williams now in front of Nick Byer, in front of Reese Bogue, James O'Brien up there in P4, Steve Loving back in P5. So this really shows you that super speedway racing is a challenge, right? And it just brings out new names. It brings out, some parity in the cars. And we've seen some new names lead that we don't often see up front. And that's for sometimes is the appeal of this style of racing, right? So to see Evan Williams up here, see Nick Byer up here, Steve Loving, of course, has won a race last season in the Premier Sim Racing SimGamingExpo Truck Series. So fun race so far. Boy, for what seemed like a very chaotic first 15 minutes, this thing has really calmed down, and now we're just kind of chilling. Now we're kind of waiting, I think, for that final pit stop. Here's an onboard with Richard Regan, by the way. This looks chill. Just looks very calm. I'm sure somewhere in the back of his mind after the race, he'll stop and think about the wreck, what the Nicholas or that he caused, and he'll be apologetic if he wasn't already, and he'll own it. But for right now, he's got to lock in and just focus on what's ahead of him.
Doug Evans calling out. He is boxing this time by. So our final run of green flag stops about to kick off in earnest this afternoon. And you're going to start with a big chunk of it. Some drivers opting for link calls. Big luck up there for Sink.
Ooh, Sink. Jeff Evans smoked the tires, so let's wait and see if I get any words right now. No black flags yet, but woo. All right.
Boy, oh boy. Well, the field quickly down and into pit road. And we'll keep tabs on anything that happens there for now. Up front, a big chunk of drivers and some disagreements going on. Further down, by the way, Brandon Walter not happy with Flo Dams effectively right now, saying, hey, we're going to lose the draft. You got to let me get ahead. They were side by side, and look at how much time they've lost to the leading pack. The good news is they got single file out just in time. Now they can run them down.
Yep, so about 15 minutes left in the race here. A timed race for the Premier Sim Racing SimGamingExpo Truck Series. Trucks came off of it. These, by the way, would not have been full pit stops, I wouldn't think. You don't need a full pit stop here. Likely no tires, just enough gas just to get you to the end. So you see Steve Baker in the 2 up in front of Thomas Sink, who's up in front of Bradley Holly, I believe, back there in that bright truck. So we'll wait and see who comes out where, who cycles where, and what happens when it all does. Up front right now, James O'Brien. See, he's celebrating the Pride theme with the very bright rainbow colors. Got Robert Barney behind him. He's got Evan Williams behind him, Nick Byer, and others. First time tonight, I believe we've seen James O'Brien up front.
I haven't seen much from James O'Brien here this afternoon. Of course, he got caught out by the qualifying buzzer earlier on this afternoon. Was looking to be on a good flyer, but unfortunately for him, just got caught out, right? I mean, he was about, 4 or 5 seconds shy on getting that second lap in. Now, he drives towards the head of the field after starting all the way back in 37th.
So here's an interesting story. Look at the top lane. These are 2 trucks up top. Morgan and Rice, the blue and the red, are both a lap down. They're trying to fight for a lap back just in case this caution come out. Brian's going to come up there and kind of help that run, maybe seal it off a little bit. Jacob Dunn is on the lead lap, by the way. That's the purple truck. So there's a good mix of lapped cars and lead lap cars in this battle right now. Boy, O'Brien made that move and then paid for it. Or did he want to fall back? With this fuel mileage, you never know what they're doing. I don't know.
At this point, I think anything to get to the inside in preparation, because we've seen what happens if you are caught unawares, and it's not a pretty sight.
Yeah, nope, it's not a pretty sight. So O'Brien seems to be content. He's back there riding, and top lane's falling back. Only got 3 trucks. Dunn, in fact, is going to pull out of the lane, or pull out of that top lane, pardon me. He's going to lead those 2 teammates who are a lap down up top, and he's trying to get that momentum. He's trying to make it happen. They need probably one more truck, Nolan. They need one more truck to get up there and help them. But it'll be someone up top. There goes a bit of a momentum run. Oh, boy, that's going to kill that bottom lane.
Yeah, that was because they were trying to get around Stacy Hunter as well as Nicholas Hunter, both down to the inside line of the racetrack. And that is completely discombobulated the field. Now we're threatening 3 wide all of a sudden. And I think we are going to go 3 wide as Steve Loving trying to go up the middle. Morgan trying to pitch him in. That's not going to work. He's going to go around. Crashing back straight away. Up into the wall goes Loving.
No caution.
Morgan
No,
goes
there's a
with
caution.
him. Caution is finally out. A big hit as someone, Matt Gagnon, absolutely clotheslined on the apron.
Oh, boy. I have to wait and see what happens here. Look, I thought from the live shot, looks like maybe someone got in the back end of Morgan. I don't know if Morgan moved at all, but oh, boy. Well, this is going to mess with a lot of people's races here because there's some people who hadn't pitted yet who are going to be short on fuel and maybe have a hard time getting around here under caution to find pit road. We'll wait and see if they can make it or what can happen. But this is going to restack the field and have a very, very chaotic race ending, I would expect. Watch it here. There's Morgan up top. 27. I don't know. I don't think the 27, at least from that angle, it's hard to say the 27 touched him. It almost maybe Morgan got loose. I don't know. Boy, there's some hits on the bottom, though, that are some highlight-worthy hits from Matt Gagnon.
Gagnon in particular took a vicious impact with that. Douglas Rice being assigned a black flag, and I believe that is for entry closed pits. This is on board with the 14.
Nope. Okay, I take back what I said. That looks more like contact than I thought it did. And then from there, Doug Rice got hit in the side, and it's just aggression. Aggression really is like the word of the night. Watch it again. This is Matt Gagnon. He's going to get a hard hit. You've got Andrew Sharp right ahead. Gets down, thinks he's safe. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Just
Right
out of nowhere.
Yep. Yeesh.
And here comes the rest of the field of the pit road. It's going to be a very split call as several drivers are, they kind of got saved by the buses. They're going to look to go straight through to the lead of the race. Robert Barney leads them down, and I believe we should be seeing, not Steve Baker. We'll be seeing Jacob Dunn go to the lead.
Yeah, that is curious because he last pitted, I believe, on lap 46. We're on lap 67. I suspect he makes it on gas. Trace Paderni's right behind him, teammates, and the problem is they're going to line up inside-outside. The good news is they're going to line up as teammates in Discord, and you can kind of maybe talk it out and see if you can, work together. Let's watch one more time for Matt Gagnon. It's going to be a truck coming down. It's going to be Doug Rice. No control of that truck from Doug, but just came down and just caught the very back end of Matt. And Matt does a few pirouettes and comes to a stop there. And I'm not calling it that word. It's the bus stop. I refuse to call it the name. It's the bus stop, darn it. Don't you do it. I'll quit.
I wasn't going to talk about it.
Okay.
Right. I can if you want me to. Hey, get that out of here, Dustin. That doesn't count. That wasn't the big one. That's 4 trucks.
That feels like the big one.
No.
That's the Nolan Ripple wreck of the night right there.
Technicality. Nope, that's a technicality, and you know it. No, a big one is 5 or more. That's the rule. I didn't count. I think it was 4. I think we're safe. My reputation remains. My strategy is sound.
Fair enough. Reputation. But anyways, yeah, so this is going to be crazy. Again, Dunn and Paderni both pitted about 20 laps ago. I believe they're good on fuel. We're only going to have a few laps here whenever we do get back green. Let's just do this. Let's just ask the driver directly. Let's just pull a move right here. I'm not gonna tell him. Let's just welcome Jacob Dunn into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. Well, Jacob, this feels familiar. A super speedway. You're up front. You got a teammate with you. There's a different teammate this time. So, first off, are you good on fuel?
Maybe.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, we've been talking about it this whole time, man. But I'm just kind of proud of the progress we made being so far back after that pit stop, after James kind of screwed the pit road entry up. Feel bad for him, but we got Trace here with us. We're going to see what we can do.
All right, so probably about, I'd say 7 minutes of racing, maybe a little less when we go green. So probably this is maybe your last restart of the night. Just go for it. Just full throttle all the way.
Yeah, that's the plan. Try not to wreck the field. Don't want to stack them up too bad here. Restarts from the lead have not been really my strong suit, but on a super speedway, I kind of get a little leeway with that. But we're going to try and get a good start. Just see if we can stay up front.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck in this restart. Good luck in the race. Maybe we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right, that is Jacob Dunn. Put him back down with Tabby DeRossi Esports. That was not the most confident of answers, by the way, on are you good on fuel?
No, it was not.
No. When you tell your team maybe, that means no, as far as I was concerned.
Now, the one saving grace, he doesn't have overtime to worry about.
That's true. In fact, he might be, not just because he's leading, but he may be the one person hoping for the second wreck. So, because one more caution, there is a procedure in Premier Sim Racing to have a quick restart, if we can do that. But you'd have to think a second caution would make him feel better about his fuel mileage here. Would make me feel better about his fuel mileage.
Jacob Dunn going to be working his way into the Geico restart zone. 6.5 minutes on the boards. Green flag is up in the air as racing action kicks back off with only a handful of laps to go.
Well, Paterni quickly got to the bottom and quickly found a gap there, and right behind his teammate and Jacob Dunn. So now the question is, can they both make it on gas? Can they both make this work? If they can, the good news for Dunn, he's got a teammate behind him who can kind of help maybe mitigate the traffic, but never mind, because here comes Steve Baker, and he's got a pusher, multiple pushers. Look at that top lane form quickly, and look at that bottom. There's a massive gap there between Paterni and Colton Lane, and I think Robert Barney. That's going to cause the top lane to dominate here.
Steve Baker pushed up front, jumps down low, bit of indecision there if you wanted to go or not. Thomas Sink going to take up a spot on the top side. Now,
look at it back
Fleury
there.
wide behind. It has not worked so far much tonight. This time we'll survive it as Doug Evans fades back in line. Triple offense straight away. One going around.
Oh my God.
One up into the air. One almost up and over. Matt Gagnon into the outside wall.
Yeah.
That could be the caution that ends the race.
We'll wait and see. 5 minutes, I bet we go 1 to go. I suspect that admins are going to do everything possible to be 1 to go and get this thing moving again. But lots happened in that 1 lap or half a lap or whatever it was that we went green there. But Steve Baker is your leader. So we'll wait and see if this thing goes green. We'll wait words for the admins. We'll wait and see what happened to Matt Gagnon for the second wreck in a row. That Outlap Motorsports truck was up in a wall, and I think not on all 4 tires. Watch in the middle of your screen. He comes down that time and gets in the front of a truck, believed to be Nick Byer, and causes the wreck.
And yet again, nearly flipped that machine upside down. We have not had that tonight.
Yeah.
Trucks at super speedways have got a tendency to do that, though.
Yeah, I don't think we're done. So we'll wait and see. No word from the admin team yet, but I suspect we're going to do everything possible to get this thing moving. So a lot of names up front tonight. And that is different. We're calling a pace car. Admin's trying to get these guys to catch the field. They're trying to create that pace that we catch the pace car, Nolan, with these long pace laps. I suspect even if we go green, it's 1 to go, most likely at Daytona. Let's watch on board Jacob Watson. Watch this wreck happen. And let's see what he sees. A little bit of a checkup. Oh, boy.
Ugh.
Ugh.
How'd you like to see this happening in front of you?
I'd rather see it happen behind me like he did in front of me, right?
No kidding. You could just barely see that right rear started to pick off the ground as soon as that truck got down onto the transition.
Right. Well, I think we should probably take a moment here and remind everyone, Nolan, that the Green Flag TV YouTube channel is super active, right? The next 2 nights we are off for the 4th of July holiday weekend, but we pick it back up Sunday for a 4-hour race at Silverstone for the FTR Troph.ai series, their inaugural race. It's a different race than our league race. They're going to have 2 classes of cars, the Ferrari and the P-Cup. Saturday night, myself, George Kirafidas here for the SRA NAS Classic at Watkins Glen. Sunday night, the Blazing Pedals League is putting on the Freedom 100 as a charity race that anyone can enter, with all proceeds and entry fees going to Mission 22. And then you pick it back up next Monday night with High Tide Racing League. On a normal week with no holidays, Nolan, we are in a full schedule. We are now 7 nights a week of racing action.
7 nights a week, and by my count, Derrick, about 12 in a week as well, with 2 on Wednesday, up to 3 on Wednesdays, 2 on Thursdays, up to 2 on Saturdays, up to 3 on Sundays, and
3 on Wednesdays, yeah.
And they have shortened this, by the way, to 1 to green.
I was wrong. We're going to have more than 1 lap here, I believe. We're going to wait and see how long it takes us to get around. This could be a 2 to go scenario, by the way. So this is it, though. Whatever happens here, yellow, checkers, whatever, we're done. We will not get this thing restarted again. So if you're Steve Baker, if you're Thomas Sink, you're probably hoping that it just ends and it's over. But for everyone else, this is your 1 shot, your 1 opportunity, your 1 moment, whatever you want to say here.
What on earth? Brian Tope has crashed under caution. This has not delayed the start. We are still going green this time.
We're still going green this time. We'll have to wait and see if we can find out what happened there. I saw some big checkups in the back of the field, but I wonder if Tope just maybe blew a motor or just something to cause that to happen. Maybe that truck just finally gave up on damage. I don't know, but kind of a weird moment. See if we can find it in replay. Here it is. Riding around and that's...
I'm going to bite my tongue on that one, Derrick.
Yeah, I'm Derrick. I started to say hardware
definitely
failure, but the fact that it came back around...
Yeah,
maybe,
I'm going to hold my tongue.
Maybe texting and driving. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But we'll talk about it later. But now, Nolan, it's time for the final start of the night.
Coming to it. Potential of a one-lap dash. Steve Baker leads the field back to green.
Boy, this is going to be interesting because you don't want to be too anxious, right? You don't want to be the one that causes the wreck here, but you have to be anxious. You have to be aggressive because we're probably 2 to go here. Wait and see what the timer says in a moment when we come back around and what it looks like. But if you're Dunn, if you're Paderny, if you're Colton Lane, if you're Ted Lowendick, if you're anyone in that group that's not leading, you have to push. You have to make a move. You must have to go 3 wide. We're going to wait and see what the timer says we come around. This may be your white flag. I did not see Barney only showed the green flag. Let's watch it and see. That is the white flag in his hand.
All right.
So we are white flag this time by.
So this is it then. Steve Baker coming off of turn numbers 3 and 4. There's the look. Jacob Dunn trying to go up high. Push to the wind. Paderny goes down low. Paderny's turn. He's up into the air. Crashing big time. They're all crashing.
No
Dunn
caution.
walks it off for the win. And
that's it. That's it.
almighty crash. Everyone is in it except for the top 2.
Wow, no caution because the end of the race is what I was going to say. Jacob Dunn pulls out the win, but the rest of the field will be pulling out fenders, bumpers, door panels, scrap metal from that incident. Just a lot of aggression on a one-lap shootout. I thought we'd get 2, but the timing did not work out, and yeesh.
Boy, Jacob Dunn, I thought Baker might have an answer for him, but someone, I think it was Sink, got turned just above him.
I think it starts with Paderny first, but yeah.
Yeah. Right at the line, Sink got turned, and that slowed Baker down just enough to let Dunn eke out the win.
Watch him up top here. Oh, Paderny got turned to the bottom. Oh my God, look at that truck. There's your airborne you were hoping for.
Yeah. And then up front.
Oh, Trace, you got to... Oh, boy. Well, Jacobs decided to bring it down pit road and do burnouts. I don't understand that. I guess he's in the grass now, but... All right.
Now we're angering the grounds crew.
Yeah. Now there's some poor groundskeeper who's currently writing a complaint to...
Okay. Point is, he has not got... Okay, he had not gone onto the paint until that.
Yeah. Oh boy, there's probably a couple more looks we can get of this replay to see what happened. And we see Jacob Dunn burning down the tires and having that celebratory moment. But watch it again. Watch that yellow truck on the bottom. I believe he comes down a little bit, gets Colton Lane, who then gets turned around, and from there it just, I mean...
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Oh, so it did go over.
Yep. Yeesh, what a race.
One of the biggest crashes we have seen coming to the checkered flag so far.
Was that the Nolan Ripple big one?
Oh, boy. And here comes the party.
Watch it again here. This will be from a little bit back in the field. That's Evan Williams getting turned right there. He's the one that goes over after the line, so he's going to pull the old Austin Dillon finishing with the finish line in the air moment of the race. Oh!
It keeps going.
Right.
This poor man.
Well, we can go do this, Nolan. This is going to be the most unofficial results we've ever seen because I suspect the race stewards will have to look at some things and evaluate some things. But let's go and take a look at tonight's unofficial results. As a team owner, I'm stoked to say your winner, Jacob Dunn, Tabula Rasa Esports, number 3 truck, Steve Baker's in second, number 2. Thomas Sink, Reese Bogue, Nicholas Acosta up to P5. Ted Lowendick, Nick Schwartz, Doug Evans, Steve Loving, and James O'Brien round out your top 10.
From there, Evan Williams back in 11th with Andrew Sharp in 12th. Colton Lane, Nick Hunter, and Jeff Evans round out the top 15. And the 20 closed out by Brandon Walter, Bradley Hawley, Robert Barney, Jacob Watson, and Zachary Bird.
Back in P21, Stacy Hunter is P21, still in the lead lap, as is Flo Dom. That's the last car in the lead lap. Kyle Dewey, James Morgan, Doug Rice, Trace Paderny all one lap down. Then Zach Williams, Brian Tope, Matt Gagnon, and Nick Beyer round out your top 30.
Richard Ricky Jr. and Mike Toomer Jr. will be the last two trucks, I believe, to finish this race. So they're Lawrence Saraf, Dustin Bumgarner, Mark Kalin, Matt Scherf, Carson Quint, and Drew Wilk all failed to finish this race. And I believe Wilk did not make the start either.
Disconnected very early. Well, this will begin our Regan Bogue Motorsports post-race show. And at Regan Bogue Motorsports, speed is just the starting point, and success is built through discipline, focus, and development. At Regan Bogue Motorsports, their iRacing coaching is built to develop winners through one-on-one training, where the focus is on the fundamentals that turn fast drivers into champions. They use smart racecraft, disciplined decision-making, and pressure-proof performance. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about building a foundation for lasting success. Regan Bogue Motorsports, developed for wins, built for championship. Well, I'd say there's at least one driver who showed a lot of those skills, pressure-proof performance, and much more. We talked about 7 minutes ago. Let's talk to him again. Jacob Dunn, you're the winner.
I can't believe it, man. That was a crazy final lap. I didn't even realize it was the last lap until we got into 3. And I was kind of yelling at Trace. I was like, is this the white? Is this the white? And as soon as he said yes, we were coming out of 4, and I jumped high as soon as I could when I realized I was clear of a sink there in the 48. And luck had to be on my side there, and I'm glad it was, because it's not often that it is.
Well, the good news is the luck for Jacob Dunn at super speedways is pretty strong. The bad news is the luck for teammates of Jacob Dunn at the end of super speedways is becoming the good in question. You had James Morgan run out of gas at a previous super speedway. Now you had Trace Purdy and others kind of wrecking behind you. So are you becoming a jinx?
Lord, I hope not. I did see him get hooked there. I think he came down just trying to take it 3, because Steve threw a great block. He left me just enough room to get to the top, and I was able to stick my nose in there just enough. I knew Thomas wasn't going to really push me there. We talked about it with the team affiliations, but Trace was committed to me 100%, and I'm just glad we could get one of the TRE trucks into victory lane.
Well, as a team owner, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to see the team doing so well. Great job tonight. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
Just thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Thanks to all the team. We couldn't do it without them. A lot of us been working together there towards the end. Everybody that puts this race together, everybody watching at home. Super speedways are like a home for me, being about an hour from Talladega myself. So, it's good to get this 3-car back in victory lane at Daytona and roll Tide. I
knew that was coming. I hate you for that. Just want to know that. Roll Tide. That's awful. As a commentator from Ohio, and a producer who's from Tennessee, those are awful words. But Jacob Dunn, congrats on the win, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Gateway.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, that is Jacob Dunn, your winner. What a great run he had. Excited, you could tell from his voice, and a great, great run. Well, someone who almost had a great run is Steve Baker, and Nolan Rimple has caught up with him.
Steve, what a wild way to close out this race this afternoon, and what could have been, it was a huge fight coming down towards the wire, and a slight door check coming to it from a truck that got spun may have sealed the deal. Talk us through that final lap for you.
Yeah, I thought we were in pretty good position there with Tom on the top side and us leading the bottom. But yeah, kind of a disappointing end, but second at Daytona's good to walk away with. Very close to the win, and would have loved to have my first win here in the league, but hard to be mad at a second place.
Especially with all that this race had to offer for you here this afternoon. A long green flag stint. The question of fuel and fuel saving was prevalent throughout the broadcast here this afternoon. How did the strategy fall for you, or was it kind of just mimic what everyone else was doing?
Yeah, so we made the decision to kind of come to pit road early during the green flag run and get it over with and kind of get back out on track and try and get back up to speed. So that paid off when we caught the yellow at a pretty much a lucky time to get us back up to the lead. But it was kind of a crapshoot. It was tough to move through the field much, so it was all pretty much pit strategy, I feel like.
Well, coming on up here in the PSR SGE Truck Series, it is, of course, a 1 week break before we return to the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Gateway is always a unique challenge in of itself. What do you think is in store when we return for the break to Illinois?
Yeah, I like Gateway. Should be a fun one. I think we've still got the Glen on the schedule too, so looking forward to that. And really, this whole season looked pretty fun. So looking forward to the rest of the season. I hope we can continue this stretch.
All right, well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing in 2 weeks. Congratulations on taking number 2, and we'll see you when we return in 2 weeks in Illinois.
Thank you, guys.
Steve Baker comes home number 2 this afternoon, and that'll bring up the driver that got turned coming towards the wire. It's Thomas Sink standing by with Derrick Watson.
Well, Tom, that might be one of the craziest finishes, not just as a league race, but you got P3 at about a 30-degree angle at the line.
Yeah, I had that grinds Chevy all hung out there. I was just trying to wheel it straight so that I got at least top 5, and it worked out with the top 3.
So a fun race overnight. Looked like most of the night you had up front most of the night. It looked like you're having a good time. A long green flag run. What stands out from this race?
Oh man, I think just my ability to be able to manage the lanes and the car in front of me. Usually I typically run in the back to save fuel and just kind of stay out of trouble. But just based off my qualifying and kind of the guys around me, I was able to just kind of ride behind Doyle there for a while. And then when he pitted or backed out of it, we were able to call our pit strategy pretty good. And then it was just basically managing the gap in between the trucks and making sure we had the most momentum going around.
Well, from here, we take a week off for the 4th of July week. We come back in 2 weeks at Gateway. What's your level of comfort at Gateway? What's your happiness that Gateway is next on the schedule?
I actually really like Gateway. I like that it takes a little bit more driver skill to get around it. It's not just that flat foot, hit a line, and try to manage that line every single lap. Gateway has a little bit more skill. You have the bottom, which has less banking going in the 1 and 2, and it has a little bit more, I guess, progressive banking towards the center up. So typically what you want to do is you want to get either to the bottom or that center lane, downshift, and then try to get up off the corner as best as possible, and then manage what you can for 3 and 4, which I think is a little bit more of a swooping turn, and then get down into 1. So I really like Gateway. I've always done fairly decent there. I want to say that I won there in the PRL days back, 10 years ago or something like that. So it's actually been a fairly decent track for me.
Fair enough. Well, listen, it was a pleasure talking to you. Congrats on the P3. Anyone you can give a shout out to or say hello to?
Absolutely, my family. My wife in the other room. She's probably staring at TV waiting for me to say I love you. So I love you. I got some friends over, EJ and my sister Gracie. My grandma at home. I love my grandma. She's watching. She's been watching every week and loves it.
All right. Well, I'm glad to know Grandma's watching. I'll also say hi, Grandma. And hopefully she's a fan. And Tom, great job, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right. That is Thomas Sink. Well, Nolan, quintessential Daytona, right? Long green flag run, some pit stop calls, maybe some pit stop mistakes, a big one that ends the race. I mean, if you could just write like a short story Daytona, that's pretty much all the ingredients you need to make the cake, so to speak.
Pretty much, yeah. That's got about everything you would hope for and a little bit more to boot. So, well, next on up, it's the Worldwide Technology Raceway over at Madison, Illinois. And Gateway, again, always an extremely unique challenge. I mean, turns 1 and 2. Tighter but higher bank, 3 and 4. Tend to carry the momentum through a little bit more to the point and shoot of 1 and 2. But that said, it is flatter. Speeds are slower. That tends to be where the bump and run comes into play. And bound to be a good one after a 1 week break.
Yeah, I'm excited for the break. I'm excited to get these trucks back to Gateway and see who can come out the winner. Yeah, 2 weeks from tonight, not July 9th, we're going to be July 16th. The graphic needs there. It's being edited live. Look at that, the technology we have. Well, listen, want to say once again, congrats to our winner, Jacob Dunn. Want to say thank you to all the drivers of the league tonight who participated in the great Pride Ride theme and had an amazing night. If you missed this race, you can catch this race and every race from the Premier Sim Racing SimGamingExpo Truck Series here on the Green Flag TV YouTube channel. For Dustin Ollis pushing the buttons and making us look good, for Nolan Ripple stepping in for Evan Posocco tonight, I am Derrick Watson saying thank you so much for hanging out. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.